Good morning. As she said, I'm Stephanie Tyree. I work with We Act in Harlem, New York City, and I want to start off just thanking CLPP for inviting me and my climate justice colleagues and pushing forward the links between social justice movements that are happening around the country and around the world. So the reason that I'm up here today actually is to do that myself and to call on every person in this room to join the global fight for climate justice. The climate justice movement is bringing together people across the entire world to demand that our governments, our industries, and our fellow people stop cooking the planet. Climate justice, or climate change, is clearly one of the most deadly and important issues facing our world today. And climate justice is the movement of our generation because it affects every person, it touches every issue, and it links all areas of activism. Climate justice is a demand and a call for action, but it's also a perspective. It's a perspective that not all people are affected equally by our warming world. And as our world leaders sit in DC and New York, in Kyoto and Copenhagen, debating the best response to climate change, communities of color and low-income communities that are on the front lines are already facing a radically different world. And you know that representatives of these communities are not in the decision-making conversations. The links between climate justice, reproductive justice, and gender are clear. While climate change communities of color and low-income communities are on the front lines of climate change impacts, the impacts are not felt equally in these communities. Women are disproportionately impacted by climate change. And now, as it was talked about earlier, climate change is being used as an excuse to advance false solutions, such as population control, that perpetuate institutional racism and ignore the root causes of our global destruction. Climate change is kind of a sexy topic right now. Everyone is talking about it, even Congress. But not all solutions to climate change are just. If the solutions to climate change are good for ExxonMobil and Massey Coal Company, you know that they are not good for us. The climate justice movement wants solutions that don't commodify pollution and pay the global fossil fuel industry to keep killing our communities, our children, and our future. And until we are at the decision-making table, our climate change solutions will not protect our communities, and they won't advance justice. Every person in this room, amazingly, is a social justice activist and an ally in our fight for climate justice. The environmental justice community and others are organizing nationally on this issue through groups such as the Environmental Justice Leadership Forum on Climate Change and the Environmental Justice and Climate Change Initiative, or EJCC. I really implore every one of you to joining up with us and adding your expertise and your passion that I've seen today and yesterday, and the power that's in this room to our movement to stand up and raise our voices collectively to demand climate justice now. Thank you.